Hi, King Boomer. I cannot decide whether you look like a Civil War general or a communist dictator, but either way, I don't like it. Hello, my friends. How we doing? It's good to see you. Welcome back to the channel. It's time to get into some more QI. Quite interesting. I've had fun doing these reactions lately, and this one I was browsing around. I was like, "What's an interesting topic that they're discussing on QI?" And I found this one. This one's about the Olympics. I must say, even though I've played sports and I've watched a few Olympics, I probably couldn't name you like a quarter of the events on there. You know, so I'll probably learn quite a few things watching this one, and I feel like I learned more watching QI videos than any others right now. By this point, the last QI reaction that I did that has aired and people have commented on was probably the history one and 10 interesting history facts, I think it was called. I got quite a few compliments on that, saying that Boomer, I'm impressed by your knowledge of history, which I appreciate that, but it's probably just because I'm bored and I like browsing around stuff on Wikipedia all the time. So I basically have like a browsing Wikipedia knowledge of history. I do have some books here and there stashed away in the house somewhere, but there was a couple things that came out in that particular reaction about ancient times. And when it comes to like ancient Greece, ancient Rome, I love that stuff. Some of you guys have probably already picked up on that. That's probably why the first country I ever visited in Europe was Greece. I had always wanted to go to Greece ever since I was like a teenager. So if it's related to ancient Greece or ancient Rome, there's a good chance I may know of it, but there's still a lot to learn. Just like it's the great thing about history, there's endless things you can learn about it. You know, it's never ending, and it's always being made today. Anyway, enough chit chat. Let's get on with the Olympics here on QI and learn some interesting facts, and hopefully it's pretty funny as well. So remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want, and let's check it out. Here we go.
Name all the events at the first recorded Olympic Games in the year 776 BC.
The first recorded Olympics? God, we're starting out in ancient Greece already. I think I used to be able to know this, but it's been quite some time. But also it was the first one, so it's difficult. So you probably had the long distance running. You might have had there was one where they had boxing. You might have had one where you had to dress up in your full hoplite gear, like in the military, and do a sprint in that. There's why am I blanking on this? Well, there's also the wrestling, and then there's a different form of, well, it's not really wrestling, it's fighting, but it's called pankration, I think it's called. So I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, but pankration, it's basically like anything goes fighting. There's a lot of wrestling involved. You could basically do whatever you want. And the part that I found interesting about pankration is that I believe at some point the Spartans were banned from it because they were actually killing people in there or something like that. So I remember one time I was looking up ancient history, the first Olympics, and like what events did they have back then. But anyway, let's find out. Discus, okay.
Javelin.
No, try harder.
No.
Hammer. Oh, dear, oh dear.
No javelin, no discus.
No, I think that way madness lies.
Running.
Yes, but running is the answer.
There's running.
Just one race.
Just one race.
And if you get the distance, I would be astonished.
200 meters.
That's damn close. It's very unfair. I think you've taken enough forfeits because there was just one event and it was 192 metres. Which is the modern equivalent. It's a stadium, which is the length of the stadium. And that was the only race in the first Olympic Games.
That was the Olympic Games.
The first recorded one.
Yeah.
But they later developed, and indeed included discus and javelin and all wrestling and boxing and all the things you've mentioned. But unfortunately, the first recorded one was just one.
When was the first recorded one?
776 BC. Now, the next question, which is a subsidiary to this first recorded Olympics, is what was the naked chef doing there?
Ding dong.
Yes. Is that a response to the buttocks or?
Yeah, the blind pair.
For war.
Naked cooking for the athletes.
No, not quite.
Preparing meals for the judges. Selling food to the audience. Won the race.
Yes, quite right. The winner was a cook. His name was Cororibus of Elis, and he was a cook, and like all the contestants, was naked.
They all ran in the nude.
All ran in the nude. In
How
the nudie.
wonderful.
Even the trainers.
I would like to have seen the triple jump.
What about the pole vault?
Oh, don't.
She's funny. Does that mean that the... Because I know that they had the one event where they raced in, like, their full hoplite gear. Like, you know, what they wore to war in the phalanx. They had, like, a sprint in that. So is that the only event where they were fully clothed? I don't know.
Cororibus, of course, won by a short head. No. After his final spurt. No, shut up. Name the event in which Baron de Coubertin won his own Olympic medal. Who was Baron de Coubertin?
Was he the one who reinvented the Olympic Games?
Yeah, he's known as the father of the modern Olympic movement. Yeah.
And so he obviously set up one event that he's the only person who did, so that he could win it.
To give him credit, he did it anonymously.
Ah, so that's why he's wearing a false moustache.
How many events can you enter anonymously?
Not too many, I suppose.
Exactly.
But, so it's got to be something when you're hidden.
You don't need to be seen.
It's a race between pantomime horses, and he was the back end of one of the winning horse.
It's not as absurd as it sounds. I mean, there were some really odd Olympic events at the beginning.
You're completely hidden?
Well...
Tunnelling.
Olympic
tunnelling.
You're thinking of physical things, aren't you? But the Olympic Games was wider than that.
So essay writing or poem composing.
Poem is the answer.
Ah.
He won the gold medal for poetry.
Excellent.
Shut up!
Oh, you think that's weird? All the way up to 1948, there was a gold medal for town planning in the Olympics.
For what? Say that again.
Oh, you think that's weird? All the way up to 1948, there was a gold medal for town planning in the Olympics.
Won by Milton Keynes.
Lost by Milton Keynes, you would imagine. But no, there were all kinds of artistic categories. There was sculpture, music, painting, literature.
Sculpture. And look at him go! The young Greek's mallet is flying.
The oldest ever medal winner was a silver medal winner,
God
aged
damn it.
73.
I'm trying to pause it. All right. Go back 10 seconds. There we go. I was going to say that the one that was in this year's Olympics where I was like, what the hell is this? Why is this in the Olympics? Was breakdancing. That's the one where I was like, what? This is weird. And then I saw in like an article recently, like the lady that won it, the lady who won it was like, I think she was from Australia, but she was like really criticized because a lot of people thought she was like the worst one, but she ended up winning, and it caused her to like quit breakdancing recently or something. But yeah, I didn't care. I saw like glimpses of it, and I was like, this is a... But I can't criticize it that much because, you know, those people are probably in shape. I'm not. So maybe I need some breakdancing in my life, man, to get me back on track here.
Look at him go! The young Greek's mallet is flying.
The oldest ever medal winner was a silver medal winner, aged 73, in the 1948 engravings and etchings event.
That's fantastic.
He was a Briton called John Copley. In 1900, there was a woman who won possibly the oddest event, a farmer's wife. It was the poodle clipping event. She trimmed 17 poodles in 2 hours.
Yes.
Can you imagine? She got a gold medal for it.
I'm sure she did. 17 in 2 hours. That's impressive even to me.
Yeah, isn't it? But do you know the reason they stopped doing the sculpture and the painting and the poetry and everything else?
It was something to do with the drugs and the sex test.
No, the reason they stopped was because they felt that it rather compromised the idea of amateurism, because it's basically all the artists and things would carry on being artists for the rest of the year, whereas the other Olympians, those who threw javelins, they held down other jobs. Who is the only athlete in the history of the Olympic Games to get a personal mention in the closing ceremony?
Achilles?
No, we're talking about the modern Olympiads.
Paula Radcliffe.
Olympus.
Eddie
Not
the Eagle.
Paul Radcliffe.
Jesse
Sorry?
Owens.
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle is the right answer. What year was it?
92? 88?
88 is right. 88 is absolutely right. And what was his discipline?
Ski jumper.
He embodied the spirit.
He kind of just fell off the end of it,
Yeah.
didn't
Didn't
he?
he embody the
There
spirit?
he is.
Yes, there was nothing wrong with it. Look at this. Could you do
I
this?
couldn't do that.
And they all laughed at him. Look, why?
Well, you didn't laugh at little Titch, who did much the same.
No, you do this.
Yeah, if he could put his own hat on, that would be different.
I'm not gonna lie, that ski jump thing, I see that and I'm like scared to death just watching it. Just getting up that high off the ground on your own at that speed, I'm out. Oof. The daring of the people that do that is just incredible.
Juan Antonio Samaranch, the leader of the IOC, he said, at this Olympic Games, some competitors, he probably said, but I'm going to go on any further, have won gold and some have broken records, and one has even flown like an eagle.
Flown like an eagle.
Like an eagle. But sadly, they then legislated so that people like Eddie would not be able to participate anymore. They said that in order to participate in the Olympics, you had to be in the top 30% in your international competition, or one of the top 50 of the world, whichever. And so it closed the gate on inspired amateurs like Eddie, which is surely against the spirit of the Olympics. I mean, bless him, he had to wear glasses which frosted up. He was in a country which has no ski jumps. In England. He was just practising without having any ski jumps to practice on.
Just coming off the roof of his house.
Well, basically, I think he probably was. Why was he picked for the team, though?
Because there wasn't anyone else.
Yeah, because he was the only one who volunteered, which I think is absolutely wonderful. But they've done so. Now, who else was there who was double E? Not just Eddie the Eagle, there was another one a few years later. Do you remember?
Oh, there was a swimmer.
Eric the Eel. Eric
that's
the
right.
Eel from Equatorial Guinea.
People had to hang around. They were putting the lights out.
Well, bless him. When he arrived, I'm not wishing to sound patronising, but I just said bless him, so there's no way out. But he said he only learnt to swim 8 months before the Olympic Games. And he'd never seen an Olympic pool before he stood on the edge of one.
Got to see it and went, bloody hell. Miles.
Oh, well, there you are. It's right. It's Eddie the Eagle, who, despite his acknowledged entertainment value, resulted in a rule called the Eddie the Eagle rule that excluded colourful amateurs from the Olympics. Hard to imagine anything less in keeping with the original ethos of the game. Eskimo-Indian
I
Olympic.
don't like that, man. I don't like hearing stories about that where they keep people out when they haven't, they haven't done any like steroids or, cheating or anything. I always find those off-putting. Because. And I also found it interesting when he's like the spirit of amateurism, when ever since 1992 in the basketball competition, they've had NBA stars for the American team ever since, like the Dream Team. When most of those guys have been, they're definitely not amateurs, they're professionals. But anyway, I digress.
Olympics have been held every year since 1961. Phone books not involved, but these are more toys for you to play with. Voila, voila. And I'm afraid you're going to have to prepare to get a little bit sticky. These lubed rods.
Sean Locke and Brian
here,
Blessed.
which are very icky.
Trying to get me to do this for years. I'm sorry, Stephen, but this contravenes my super injunction.
All you have to do is try and work out what the sports are in the World Eskimo-Indian Olympics, as they're now officially called.
Well, that's obviously...
You can play it with Brian. It's actually... each one of these games is like most games, is there really basically to hone the skills you need for the environment in which you live.
Is this a two-person game?
It's a two-person game.
Is it fire?
Is it fire?
No, leave the string for the moment and grab the stick and... It's all right. It's very
what I think it is.
No, you have to do it with your hands. No. That's it.
Like that.
And it's the one who can basically, without twisting or jerking, the one who can get the stick off the other.
Oh, Christ, I've got no chance.
Sean won. There you can see them doing it. Go on, have a go. There you go.
Right, this time you're going on the floor.
There you go.
Oh my God, dude! I'm like really worried. I'm like really worried for Sean Locke right now. Because he's going up against Brian Blessed, who's like a freak of a human. He's a freak of nature, man. I would, even if Brian Blessed is probably like 80 years old, and I could not stand a chance against him in any type of competition that involves strength. So I'm really worried for Sean right now.
Oh, sorry.
I've only got
No twisting or jerking.
I think you're on one side. You're on one side.
My hands are too big.
Can you go? Oh, look, eagle.
No twisting or jerking.
See? He said, "Give me that." He just ripped it out like it was nothing.
And we have a string game yet to play, which is another game.
Let me guess, we have to wrap it round our balls.
No, you don't. You do have to wrap it around an organ.
Oh, that's it.
Fortunately, not an organ of generation. An auditory organ, one of your ears. Each wraps it round the ear. You wrap the other end down your ear, and you pull. Like so.
Oh! Oh my God! Dude, look at that picture, man.
Round the ear. You wrap the other end down your ear, and you pull.
Look at the one dude's ear. It looks like it's about to burst because it's been so condensed. Oh my God, it's not even like red. It's like fucking almost brown like his hair.
Be brave.
Put it around your ear.
It's a pain endurance test.
I'll go around the other ear.
Oh, look what happened to his ear. I don't want that to happen to my ear.
As you can see from the photograph, it's an endurance and pain are really the... you've got glasses on, of course. I don't know if that helps.
They've got quite springy ears.
Have you got springy ears?
Springy ears.
Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
I think it's a disadvantage because they're very, very springy.
No, whoa! I declare the winner there, Brian, who's been winning on your side.
Yeah. He's got it
You've turned
tied
it
in
into a
his hair.
plait.
I cheated, look, I tied it.
Definitely cheating. These are official sports of the Eskimo Olympics. Where were the first
I didn't know that
modern
Expos had
Olympics held? Still on Olympics? Yes.
1896 was the first year, and I believe it was Athens.
No. It's not correct, I'm afraid. No.
Is it in Greece? No.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was that year and whoa, I got the mouse in the thing. Sorry. I thought it was that year and it was in Athens.
Greece.
Rewind a little bit.
No. It's not correct, I'm afraid. No.
Is it in Greece? No.
No, it wasn't in Greece. I'm sorry about that. No.
Was it London?
No, you're in the right country, though.
Damn.
If you've got the place, I'd be very surprised. Johnny might, if I were to say A. Houseman, you might get the place.
Salisbury?
Nope.
Shropshire.
Shropshire is the right answer.
Shropshire, Edge.
Much Wenlock, as in on Wenlock Edge.
Wenlock Edge,
The town of Much Wenlock from the year 1850 held Olympic Games. It's an extraordinary man called Dr. W.P. Brooks.
1896 was the first Olympics.
And so people suggest, but Baron Coubertin, who was the founder, supposedly, of the modern Olympic movement, and he wrote about W.P. Brooks. Much Wenlock is a town in Shropshire, a county on the borders of Wales, and if the Olympic Games that modern Greece has not yet been able to revive, he wrote this in 1890, Coubertin, still survive today, it is due not to a Greek, but to W.P. Brooks. It is he who inaugurated them 40 years ago. And it is he, now 82 years of age, still alert and vigorous, who continues to organise and inspire them. So Coubertin came to Wenlock Edge, and he, being a baron, having influence and political connections, was able to do what this little country parson was not able to do, which was to get the rest of the country, the rest of the world. But King George I of Greece, of the Hellenes, sent a silver medal to be a prize at the Wenlock Olympics. So for 46 years before the first Athens Olympiad, as it's counted, there were Olympic Games that are recognised by the very man who is known as the father of the Olympic movement.
Gosh.
So let's hear it from W.P.
wonderful.
Brooks. But he died just a year before the Athens Olympics.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
2012, Hackney.
Yeah, could be, couldn't it?
Could be Hackney.
Could be,
Nothing wrong with Hackney.
What a
I live in
shithole. Kayaking down the Lee River.
I used to live in Hackney.
You can develop film in the Lee River, but you can't kayak.
Which international head of state snubbed Jesse Owens after his triumph at the 1936 Olympics?
That's easy.
Yes, yeah.
Hitler.
Oddly enough, it's not true. It's what the whole world thinks, but it isn't true. And we know this from no greater source than Jesse Owens himself. In fact, it's a really rather sad and a very typically, I'm afraid, unfortunate story. Jesse Owens, as you probably know, won 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. The Olympics were stage managed, of course, by Hitler. Now, on the first day, Hitler congratulated only German winners. And someone said to him that he should either congratulate all the winners or none of them. So he said, well, in that case, I won't congratulate any winners. So as it happens, he didn't personally congratulate. He didn't personally congratulate.
Wait, I missed that.
So he said, well, in that case, I won't congratulate any winners. So as it happens, he didn't personally congratulate. He didn't personally congratulate Jesse Owens. Who are you looking at there?
The bloke on the far right's just going like that.
That's Goring.
To be fair, I think
Hermann Goring.
I think surely they're all on the far right.
That's what I thought he said the first time. Yeah, good job, David.
They're all just taking bets on how high the high jump was going to go.
The one on Hitler's left thinking I didn't get the memo. I didn't. This start.
How to dress. Well, no, it is rather extraordinary. As I say, Hitler decided on the second day that he wouldn't congratulate anyone. So he didn't snub Jesse Owens at all. In fact, according to Jesse Owens, he said, when I passed the Chancellor, he arose, waved his hand at me, and I waved back at him. Hitler didn't snub me. It was... Who snubbed him?
So Hitler wasn't such a bad guy after all.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
The jury's still out.
Hitler is, we know, is bad. It just so happened he didn't snub Jesse Owens.
King of England.
No, FDR.
Oh, bastard.
The president of his own country. Now, it's a terrible story here. It was FDR who snubbed me. The president didn't even send me a telegram. He won 4 gold medals. When I came back to my native country, after all the stories about Hitler, I couldn't ride in the front of the bus. I had to go to the back door. I wasn't invited to shake hands with Hitler, but I certainly wasn't invited to the White House to shake hands with the president either. He had to use the goods lift of the Waldorf Astoria to get into the reception for returning US athletes, as he wasn't allowed to use the front door.
So Sammy Davis Jr. couldn't go in the front door of the hotels in Vegas where he was performing.
I know. It is simply astonishing.
He had to go in the
Fucking shameful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that still happens to me, though, sometimes.
Yeah. Fortunately, the ugly part of our history. Man, Jesse Owens. I would have loved to have seen Hitler's face when Jesse Owens won all those gold medals, man. I would pay good money to see that shit. You know. That's a fantasy. You know what else? You know what other kind of fantasy I have? You know how today we have those DNA tests that tell you like every part of your blood, like where your ancestors came from and all that. I just want like to go back in time and have Hitler take one of these DNA tests, and then it comes up like 10% African or like 15% Israeli or something like that. I don't know. You know, the 50% Jewish. Just something that would make his head explode. Because it would just be the funniest thing to me. Am I crazy? Is that a crazy thing to say? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it would be hilarious to make Hitler take a DNA test. Who knows what's in there? His whole thing was like, I'm going to create a superior race. And it turns out he's a mongrel or something, you know? Because I've got I say that I'm, Irish, blood-wise, I'm Irish, Italian, and I still got a little bit of English left. Those are the three. But I bet you if I took a DNA test, it'd probably be like 9 or 10 different things, man. Who knows? Those tests are wild. Yeah, I believe Queen Boomer took one, and it turns out she's like 2% Asian. Which is probably Genghis Khan or something, because, he was fucking everybody. But anyway, too much talking at the end there. But that was good. These QI videos are so fun to react to, because I always learn a bunch of things, and it's quite interesting, But the Olympics, I'm actually surprised that the very first Olympics only had one event. It was running. I thought it would at least have like 3 or 4 events, But you can't really gather a crowd just for running. Well, I guess you can, because they're all naked. I don't know. And the Greeks, the ancient Greeks in particular, were obsessed with the male body. So I guess you could sell that in those days. I don't know. But good video. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the reaction. I enjoyed doing that. So like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.